Alright. Hold on a second, let me just close the door. Nice little arsenal with you guys. Alright. Hey guys, it's Derek. For those of you who know me, obviously from Adventureland. I said on Facebook that I'm going to be doing the deck techs of the decks that I play there at Adventureland, and basically this is one that I'm currently working on. I don't have all the cards yet that play with in person. I have everything but the lands here, and there's a guy. But yeah, I have everything else. Oh, and 2 Inkmoth next I'm missing. Anyway, basically how these videos are going to work, they're going to come in parts depending on how long the games are, which the first game I'm going to show you with this deck is not that long at all. But the first part is going to be the deck itself, what it looks like, how, kind of a little explanation of what I'm doing, and then the next part of the video is going to be the gameplay. I'm going to do a couple of different games with it, and the first game I'm doing, it was against a ramp deck. We'll get into detail about that later. First things first, the land suite. I am playing 4, 8, 12, right? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 lands altogether. I don't count the Inkmoth Nexus as a land. I hardly tap it for mana until late game, really, but even then I'm usually attacking with it. So basically there are 16 lands in the deck. I like to think about it that way. There are 4 basic forests, 4 sun petal groves, 4 temple gardens, and 4 fetch lands, 2 misty rainforests, 2 arid mesas. As a little bit of a tidbit for you guys, some of you new players, the point of fetch lands is to thin your draw. You use fetch lands, you play a fetch land rather, that's a land out of your deck. You crack it, you get to fetch for, I get to fetch for mountains, islands, forests, or plains, but only forests and plains are in my deck, so that's the only colors that matter. So I get to dig out a forest or a temple garden with either of them. Misty Rainforest will find Temple Garden, Arid Mesa will find Temple Garden, but they'll also, Misty Rainforest will just find forests. Arid Mesa, I don't have any plains in the deck, so they're there for the Temple Gardens. Anyway, basically, they increase my chance of drawing a non-land permanent or spell, which is much better, obviously, in a deck like this where you don't want to be drawing lands past 3, really. 4 is the most that you really need. Obviously, sometimes more mana is better, but you want to win pretty early, so you're not worried about getting to like 5 or 6 mana. Next, you see, like I said, the creature suite. You have 4 Inkmoth Nexus, 4 Glistener Elves, 4 Lost Landings, and 4 Necropedes. Inkmoth Nexus obviously is a land, but generally I'll be playing it as a 1/1 creature. Glistener Elf is the powerhouse in the deck. He's a 1/1 Infect for 1. Lost Leonin, 2 white mana, best 2 drop I think, for his basic stats. 2/1 Infect. Necropede, just Infect, and when he dies, I get to put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. That's why I'm playing him, although I might just switch to 2 of him and 2 Ichorclaw Mirrors, just because the interaction between Ichorclaw Mirror and Rancor is sweet. It's really, really awesome. So basically, Ichorclaw Mirror is a 1/1 with Infect for 2, same stats, except whenever he becomes blocked, he gets +2/+2, I think. Let's look him up. Yeah, he gets +2/+2. So with Rancor on him, he'll get +2/+0 and Trample. So that's pretty cool. So even if they block, he's getting big enough to go over most weenies that'll kill him. But he's probably going to survive, so they're not going to jump with a weenie. Anything less than a 3/3. So at least you're doing 2 damage there, which is pretty sweet. So that's my creatures. The next thing is the enchantments. So you got Rancor, 4 of those. 3 Ethereal Armors, and you might be asking yourself, 2 Hyena Armors. Pretty interesting numbers here and pretty interesting cards. I'm going with the Ethereal Armors because I like First Strike. I'm going with the Hyena Armors because I like First Strike. With Infect, it's just really, it's dirty because most of the time you can survive pretty big hits from creatures that would otherwise kill your dudes. So pretty interesting. They pump the defense besides just the power. Toughness is very important for my guys because they die pretty easily. Anyway, Rancor is the best in enchantment, the one you're looking to equip. That's why I have 4 of them. I'm going to draw them more. Ethereal Armor is really cool after a Rancor is on the field already, because the Ethereal Armor will then give +2/+2. And if I get another Ethereal Armor, they're giving each +3/+3. So the way they stack is really, really devastating once you start stacking them up on creatures. And the Hyena Umbras I like the 2 of them for Totem Armor, which just protects my dudes from dying. I think really one of my favorite plays is putting it on Ink Moth Nexus, and then they try to kill the Ink Moth Nexus, and I keep it. So that's pretty cool. Unless, of course, they blow it up with a land. So once you get a Rancor and Ethereal Armor on anything, you're in a pretty good position to just start winning. But you'll usually get them on turn 2, turn 3. Really, really, really powerful. And that's where my deck differentiates between other Infect decks, is that I'm running these white enchantments, whereas most just run these green Infect dudes and a bunch of palm spells, which we'll get into next. Now, because I have the 3 Ethereal Armors, the 2 Hyena Umbras, and 4 Rancors, well, not so much the Rancors because they would play that anyway in Infect deck, but the 5 other things, that leaves out 4 spaces for Might of Old Corrosa, and this extra space would probably be another Ajani. But anyway, basically everything in here is going to pump them. These 2 are going to pump them for 4 each. I'm never going to play this for 2 unless that's all I need to get through, is the 2 damage or 3 damage or whatever to win. But usually it pumps for 4 on turn 2 or on turn 3. Vines of Vastwood pumps for 4. Now I will use this without the kicker sometimes, so they won't get the +4/+4, but when I'm using it for that, I'm using it like an Unscathed. I'm trying to protect my dudes, because this gives them hexproof. And Mutagenic Growth is free all the time, unless you have no hit points, not enough hit points to pay it. It only gives +2/+2, but it's free. So basically, you have 2 of these, 2 ground spells and a Mutagenic Growth in your hand, you win. There's nothing they can do after, except for destroy the creature. But if they have nothing on board and they're tapped out, they're done. It's just game over. Now the last 2 sets of spells here, I have the Ajani, Caller of Pride, which is a powerhouse in this deck. You can pick up a Glistener Elf on turn 3 and throw them into your opponent's mouth, and they're not going to be able to do anything. You go turn 1, Glistener Elf, okay? Turn 2, Rancor, swing for 3. They're at 3 Infect. Turn 3, play Ajani, Caller of the Pride, pick them up, and throw them, do 6 more poison, which is phenomenal. Or, let's say you go turn 1 Glistener Elf, they go turn 2 Chump Blocker, or turn 1 Chump Blocker. You go turn 2 Rancor, you can't swing in. You go turn 3 Ajani, they have no flyers, they're tapped out. Pick them up, throw them at your opponent's face for the 6th Infect, or pump them up with any of these spells and do lethal damage on turn 3. So very, 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 very cool. Plus the +1/+1 counter is not too bad when you're trying to play slower and catch up. And if you happen to get his bomb off, you know, that's just a sugar on top. And the last one here is Unmerged Unscathed, which is target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn with rebound. So you got a blocker, a red blocker, pro red on my Glistener Elf, swing in, you're dead. Or, let's say I can only get 5 in this turn, it's got rebound, which means if you cast a spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from the exile without paying his mana cost. So I get to play it again for free and then get in there for the rest of the 5. So very, 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 very cool stuff there. So that's the deck. I just want to look at the sideboard real quick. The sideboard is, boom, right here. So I'll highlight that for you. You got 4 Path to Exiles. Actually, I'll just show you in here. 4 Path to Exiles. Where is that? Exile target creature. Control search for the land. It's between this and Condemn. I like that this is instant speed in any time. It does ramp them, though, so that can be dangerous for you. Condemn does not ramp them. It only gives them life, which, of course, I don't care about because I'm playing Infect. 1 Ray of Revelation. Instant destroy target enchantment with flashback. Pretty useful. 3 Croatian Gips, destroy target artifact enchantment. Now, normally I was running naturalized, but against control decks, you want the split second so that they can't respond to it. And it also shuts down artifacts activations, which is pretty good. So keep that in mind. 2 Rest in Peace against any graveyard decks. Pretty or flashback decks even. The Snapcaster Mage control decks are pretty dirty. Journey to Nowhere, 2 of those for Emrakul. Very important for Emrakul. There are a lot of decks that want to cheat him into play, and if they give me the turn where I get to drop Journey to Nowhere, Oblivion Ring works too, but Journey to Nowhere, because it's not a spell when it comes into play, Emrakul has no protection for it, takes him out. Also takes out the big fatties like Primetime or Primeval Titan, any of the Titans from getting in the way of my dudes. I can just get rid of them, so it's more against big fatty fats. So, and against control decks, Vexing Susher. 2 mana, 2 green. Vexing Susher can't be countered, so sticks right away. Target spell for 1 green, target spell can't be countered by spells or abilities. So I want to try to get in that damage, but they have mana up to counter. Tap 1 extra 1 to, groundswell for 2 mana instead, but it's uncounterable, so they have to just deal with it. Or if I need to get down a creature. Or a Rancor, or a Johnny. Just pay that 1 green, get it down for free, no countering, pretty useful. Alright, so that is the deck right here. I'm going to put this link in the comments, but in the bottom section there. I'm also going to put the links down for this program, which is Cockatrice. It is a program that allows you to play Magic, which you will see in just a minute here. And part 2 of this video will go into the gameplay. Okay?